I had a very interesting, excuse me, exchange the other morning at the local grocery store. Just in there, doing what people do, shop, right? And this elderly guy, me calling somebody elderly may be funny to you, but he was older than I am. I could tell that by his, just could tell that. So he kind of comes hobbling up and just said to him, "How you doing, brother?" He says, not very well, not very well. I don't know if he said he busted his foot, broke his foot, getting down out of his truck, I think he said. But anyway, be that as it may, first I appreciated that he wasn't one to just blow me off with, I'm doing fine, whatever. He was telling me, he had some suffering. So I just happened to say, "Oh, may the Lord bless you, heal you, raise you up, sustain you," something like that. He says, "Oh, you believe that?" Which I took to mean, he was saying, you believe in stuff like that, like healing or whatever. But be that as it may also, what he said was, "Oh, you believe that?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I came to the Lord when I was 18 years old, and I've been preaching him ever since. And I'm 92 years old." And I appreciated that. There was no boast in it, or he was just saying that, the Lord had, I think he was boasting of the Lord and the Lord's faithfulness. That's what I sensed. So anyway, after that, he kind of appreciated our talking, and he says, "So let me ask you, where do you attend church?" Which is an all too common question, right? I mean, it's all too common question. I said, "Well, I go here and there. I'm looking for the church," is what I said. "I'm looking for the church." He said, "Oh," and this made it plain to me he thought I was looking for a church. He says, "Well, if you go there, they preach a good message there. Or if you go to this other place, you can go and they preach a good message there." And I said, "No, brother, I'm not looking for a church to attend. I'm looking for the church in Guyton, which is where I live." And so he said, what did he say? No, he didn't say anything. I'm sorry. Forgive me. No, I was the one that said, "Well, you've been in the Lord these many years. I'm sure you've read, I'm sure you've heard, right, that, Paul spoke to the church at any particular locale. He spoke to the church at Ephesus. He spoke to the church at Corinth. Now, if you were to open not a yellow page, it's just Google, like as I have, for churches in Guyton, probably 10, 15 little dots show up, on that map. This, that, this one, this one, this one, this one. Some of them are bunched together like almost they're overlapping. And I said, that doesn't seem right, does it? I mean, why are there so many different places all calling themselves the church and all claiming to be believers when all the believers in Guyton are the church in Guyton? And he said rather sheepishly, he said, they can't get along. And so this is secondhand, obviously. He's telling me this. I don't know what's been said by these leaders of these churches, whether they can't get along or not. I don't know that, but he's been around enough, and that is his surmising of the situation. They can't get along. So either he has seen something, known something, or he has just surmised this. But even in his surmising, I said, isn't that a strange thing? And he kind of looked a little puzzled, again, a little sheepish. I said, people preaching the gospel, that can't get along with one another, claiming the same gospel, claiming the same salvation. And there he really got sheepish. And I mean sheepish in a good way, Like, yeah, he understood. How can there be such division preaching this thing that it is all about a communion with God, making us all one? And so I appreciated it. And the Lord is showing me the need for mercy, even in any of this seeing, despite the fact that there is rebuke, and that is of God, for all our divisions and all our preferences and all our where we'd like to go or who we'd like to hear or what we'd like to experience as we come together and what we rule out. It's so easy, and I've been to so many assemblies, as I trust you have been at least to a few, where the talk will be of the Corinthians and how they were so messed up, or the Galatians and how they were so messed up. But at least they were all together in one place. They had not fractured yet into this multiplicity of things that have no resemblance to even that, the Corinthians. Just everyone doing their own thing, everyone going for their own preference. And you may sense, and rightly so, that I'm not a man that's easy to get along with, but this is where the gospel is not merely tested, but where we find our need for apprehending more of the Lord's grace and mercy to be with one another. That when we opt for doing it our way or the place where we're comfortable, we're actually in denial of the gospel. And so may God help us with our necessary necessity of mercy and grace to see and understand the way of God through Jesus Christ and how he deals with his sheep. And bless you.